my page and your page. Okay. Good evening,
Woo!
everyone. I want to say welcome to Connecting with Care. Such a problem.
Oh my gosh, we have so many shows that we just can't keep track of which one we're on.
Right? Welcome to Underground Radio CN Life Changes channel. That's a problem, right? Welcome to the Shift Happens show.
The Shift Happens show. Here we are.
Or we're gonna
And
have
shift
to
happens. Like
the
here we
shift.
are, like shift happens and here's Cari. She's getting messages that it's right at like timing, right? Shift
Right?
happens just
It's
when
like
you maybe don't expect it. It happens.
showtime, and I'm gonna be live in like 30 seconds. Yes, my apologies because we even started. I'm like a minute late, but that's okay. It is all good.
Oh good.
As you
Shift
said, shift
happens.
happens, and that's
Yep.
what we're here to talk about. Um, we are hosting it together. So there is no one main host, but most of you know that. Well, Deena, you can introduce yourself, and then I'll just introduce myself. Cari Hansen, owner, founder, CEO, the everything of Underground Radio C. You guys know me from my Connected with Cari shows. If you follow me on Instagram, you've seen my shows. If you are following my page on Underground Radio C, thank you. You've seen a million of my shows there too. You haven't seen Deena as much pop up, but she was actually my guest was it last Saturday? Yeah, last Saturday. See, time's just going by on the Just FM, Just TV page, which we're actually streaming through today as well. So you guys are catching us there. So welcome to our Shift Happens show. This is going to be a show that we're doing every other week because we can. That's all I'm gonna say.
Because nobody said we couldn't yet. Nobody said stop.
We haven't been boycotted from anything yet.
No.
So, Deena, your turn. Let's go.
Well, I have a few fans. I don't have maybe as many as you, Cari, but the Life Changes Channel podcast is my show. I have it. It's on YouTube. It's on all the podcast players, and there's over 100 episodes out there now. It's just full of all kinds of information if you're dealing with any kind of life change, especially around divorce, but other life changes too. And they can be positive or negative ones or whatever, but we talk about them. And you don't have to feel stuck or alone. My whole point is to try and bring the people to you that have the answers. So you might hear, I have a cutest, adorable little lisp today. Literally like an hour ago, I got a new wire on the back of my teeth and it's shaped different. And it's apparently going to take me 3 days to adjust to that. So in the meantime, I have a little lisp and I think it's adorable. So just hang in there with me. But yeah, so what I do is I publish 2 magazines. I publish Divorce Magazine Canada and Life Changes Magazine. And those are digital, they're quarterly. There's newsletters in between those. There's online support groups, the podcast. And I'm all the things too. I've got all these multimedia platforms and I'm just doing all the things and I keep dreaming up new ones like a talk show with Cari because shift happens. Like this is a real shift show. Like we're talking about the kinds of shifts that maybe you don't expect or you do expect, or not only the ones you're dealing with in your life, but what kind of shifts can you create in your life that causes a positive impact in your world. So we want to talk about all those different kinds of shift and like I just love it. I keep saying we can't help ourselves anymore at this point because that word just fits in so many places.
It does.
So.
And it's pretty shifty to me. I mean, ideally, and we put out there during our promo for the show and then our first show, if you guys want or have any topics you want us to discuss about things shifting in your life, or just like, okay, maybe it could be relationship shifts. It could be, parent child shifting. It could just be workplace shifts. It could be, anything. And we will definitely discuss those. And we can also bring guests on. We actually do have a couple guests in the planning stages to come on, which is going to be amazing. yeah, and some like professionals coming on as well. It's going to be a lot of fun and very shifty and neat. So that's what it's going to be about. And a lot of, you know, I wouldn't say technically the mental health stuff, but it will be along the lines of that, completely, because it's going to be totally like everyone's going to be like, yeah, I've been through that, I've done that. And it's going to be relatable, absolutely shifty,
Well, and
relatable
mindset,
stuff. Yes,
like as
mindset.
around mental health, your mindset and how you can navigate shifts with less stress.
Yes, we want less stress in our life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So last show, we got talking into Stampede because Stampede week was just around the corner. Our show was on Wednesday, July 3rd, and the Stampede started on the 5th. So, Deena, your take on the Stampede, if you want to recap your thoughts about it. I'll recap my thoughts about it, and then we'll kind of see how the week went.
Okay, cool. So I'm 58 and never in my life have I attended Stampede. And I like to say I've managed to avoid it in all those years. Now, I do come from a ranching background, love rodeo. And for me, I just felt like I didn't want to navigate all the party crowd who are just there to party when this is all about rodeo. You're like, why are we not just going to the rodeo? And why do we have to have all the party shift? Sorry. uh,
Hey, shift happens.
this is unfiltered. Okay. We should
Oh
have
yeah,
warned
this one's
people.
unfiltered. This is
This
unfiltered.
one's
We're good.
unfiltered. Sometimes
We're
we
good.
have clean cut, but okay, I already, yeah.
Yeah.
So my opinion was I'd rather go to rodeo events like say, Panoka and some of these other ones where it's very much more focused around just the rodeo event. And that was my take. Although I'd never gone. So I really didn't have evidence of what I was talking about, just what I would hear people getting excited. They were always excited about the parties. So I just thought, well, that must be the main focus for a lot of people, which is not a bad thing. I'm just not a big into the party scene at this point, or most of my life. So that was my take. And it was a little um, negative, I guess you could say. I've never really looked into what else was involved. Plus I just think it's very peoply, and I kind
People.
of I kind of like I kind of like I like people, but just not that many people, and it's hot, and yeah. So that was mine. Cari, tell us about yours. Now you had a um, different perspective, and what I loved about that is it's I'm like, convince me otherwise.
Convince me.
And
Convince me
you
otherwise.
did a good job.
Thank you very much. I'm very good at sales, although I'm never in sales. But I can. I like to give the negatives and the positives of each situation as I know, right? My own personal experiences from the past, and perhaps you know, something that most people wouldn't even think of. So as I had mentioned the last show, that Stampede is one of those things. You really do have to plan for it, and you really do have to step in with a mindset that it probably will be hot, or you're going to get unexpected weather. So be prepared for that. Be prepared for crowds. Be prepared for, like I said, it could be hot, it could be raining, it could be whatever. Prepare how you're going to get down there. Whether you're going to take a C train, whether you're going to take a taxi or park, whatever, be prepared for that. And especially if you have children as well, because that is something most people just think, okay, yeah, we're going to park and we're going to walk. But then you got to think of, okay, if you're taking children that are young, are they going to be able to walk along with you and endure a full day? So speaking of children and going down, one thing that is pretty cool about Stampede is the fact that there are many shows, free shows. Well, it comes with your gate admission. So there are free days you can get in as well for gate admission. I think there were 4 days this year actually, which is pretty cool. But there's like Family Day and some other days. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you can get in for free. And so, and then the city also has different passes as well, so you can get tickets and whatever ahead of time. So that's also something to think about when planning. So yeah, with children, you can sometimes go in and get them in free. And then, they have all these different really cool shows. One of my favorite shows, regardless of what age you are, has always been like the Real Canadian Super Dogs. And it's always fun because they do the agility courses and you get to sit in a cool space and you get to watch them. This year, actually, it was pretty cool that I saw posted up was Cowboy Park actually had them come out to the park and do a show out there over last weekend. So that was that. I didn't get a chance to go see it, but if I would have known more in advance, I would have went. Which so it's good. It's good to see they're integrating these events together. Then they have little splash park areas, Slurpee machines, and then you can take them into the agriculture buildings and show them a little taste of what farming is a little bit like, because sometimes if you're living in the city, you've never been on a farm. You don't know what a cow looks like up close. You don't know what they eat. You don't know what they smell like. You don't know
Yep.
what shift is involved. So it's interesting. They have like learning facilities and then they have the fun stuff. You get your rides and all that, right? So, and it can become a tradition over years. So, one of the tradition is some people like to go every year to the Calgary Stampede Parade. So it's the first Friday of the Stampede week, and then everyone goes and they camp out and put their chairs up for hours. They sit there and enjoy the Stampede Parade. But again, it's planning, right? So there's a lot of cool little positive things. Sometimes there's amazing artists that go down and they sing on the Coca-Cola stage that would otherwise cost you hundreds of dollars to see, at the Saddle Dome or something, or going up to Edmonton and going and watching them there. So there's a lot of cool little perks that do come along with, planning ahead and having fun with it. Then it's like the negative side. As you said, it can get really people-y. So, it depends if you're a crowd person or if you're not. I'm one of those, I am an extrovert. However, at the end of the day, sometimes it's like, I don't even want to deal with crowds. It's just like everyone could be standing in the way and it's hot. And it's like, it's like shopping and people stop on them in the middle of the aisle with their cart. And it's like, please choose. So, same scenario. It's like,
Yeah.
there's a pack of 6 or 8 people, and it's like, can you guys y'all just like disperse, like, figure out they're going left or right, and they're just standing right there. So you get your annoying moments, and that's part of the shift that happens when you're trying to, enjoy a day down there. But you have to, again, have that mindset that it's just going to be the day. We're only going to be there for a few hours, and try and deal with it. But it can be interesting.
It's
Parking is a pain in the ass. Taking the C train can be a pain in the ass too, because you're dealing with all those crowds. And then, I mean, people at the end of the day, they get rowdy, they get grumpy, they get like, they've been in the sun too long, and it's like, yo, I'm done for the day, right? So I myself would not personally take a train. I would just be like, no go, because I don't like, it's not necessarily a safety thing, but sometimes you can feel unsafe because people don't act the same when they're tired or they're grumpy or they've had drinks or something. It's something beyond control, right? So that can definitely happen. Yeah, I think those are some of the main points that I think about, some of the bad things. But yeah, but again, I think I've had more positive experiences than negative, and I've seen like the grandstand show a few times. And again, like if you plan it, it can be an amazing time. And if you're taking your kids and they've never been, like, they're definitely going to remember that for sure. So it can be kind of cool. I would suggest at least going once in your lifetime just to kind of check it out. So yeah, I want to know your experience because you posted about going down and having an interesting time.
I did actually, and I posted that I braved the stampede, and I wasn't even at the actual stampede, but I braved Calgary during stampede, downtown Calgary.
Oh,
I
yeah.
went down to the Salt Lick right by the tower for a fundraiser for Little Warriors Be Brave Ranch. And I was, really honored to support them by not only buying a ticket, showing up, but I also had donated some advertising in the magazine for the silent auction. And I went there with a mind shift and just thought, you know what? I'm just going to show up and see what happens and just make the most of it. I'm not going to go in, and I'm like that. Like, I'm actually an optimist. I'm just always have been. And I see the silver linings, and yet there's just certain things I kind of resist being around because I'm not sure what the silver lining is. But I drive up and I'm following Google Maps because I'm not super familiar with downtown Calgary. And I'm getting close. I'm like, okay, I see my destination. Oh, crap. I didn't think about parking. I haven't a clue. So I'm anticipating, no, like initially, my first split second was, I'm going to be driving around the block for the next, making bigger and bigger loops until I can find something. And then I went, wait a minute, no, mind shift. And this happens, you can apply this to anything. So I just went, no, everything's going to work out. I'm going to find parking very easily. And literally, I found right beside the building. Like during the event, my vehicle's right there outside the window. It was perfect. I didn't get lost. I found parking really easily. I went in. They had complimentary drinks. Then my friends weren't there yet that I was meeting, but I always make new friends. So I pull up to an empty table and a lady says, hey, is this seat taken? No, have a seat. And it turned out that we didn't know people in common, but she knew people that she wanted to introduce me to that would be relevant to the work I do. And it just was it was just like that. And then parking was, you could only get 2 hours of parking, and the event lasted for 3. But I was like, hey, when the parking runs out, I'm out. It was perfect. There wasn't anything else going on. I showed my face and showed my support and met some people, and that was good. And that's as close as I got to it this year. I mean, we watch it on TV. We watch the rodeo, and ducks. But
I mean, that's a
you?
benefit too. Like that's a great benefit of the Stampede is you can watch some of the stuff on TV and not have to pay and not have to go down to the grounds and figure out what's going on. But I think just getting the live experience sometimes is pretty cool. But if you can't make it there, then that's quite the benefit, is just being able to stay home and not have to worry about all the stuff, right? So and then one thing, going back to what you said about changing your mind shift over, stressful situations of like parking and not knowing where you're going and things like that. Oftentimes when it does come to events that I've been at, and I'm never sure of the venue or anything, and I'm just like freaking out in my head. I'm just like, no, because I get uncomfortable when I don't know where I'm going or what I'm getting into, but I Google it ahead of time, and I kind of map out, okay, well, this is the streets I'm going to go to, this is the venue. I look at the pictures online and get like a little mental picture of what I'm going to be walking into. Of course, the people are never the same, like it's always different people, so that's whatever. But and then the parking situation, just to sort of see, okay, where am I going to park and all that. But again, like there can be circumstances where like a parking lot's closed and you have to use something else or whatever. So it's still in that same mindset of like, there's never really an official plan in place. It's, you have to be flexible. Construction, welcome to Calgary. So you just don't know. But that's one of the best mindsets to have, is like, okay, hey, whatever, like it'll happen, and we'll get a spot here or there. And chances are, most of the times, I'll get a spot pretty close to where I need to be, and it's pretty cool. And then going into a building, like you said, sometimes there may be someone that maybe not. And you have to go in with that mindset of being ready to, be open to who you're meeting. And a lot of times it turns out to be like amazing connections and chances for collaborations. you name it. Like, it's like one of the greater shifts in your life that can happen where it's unexpected, but it's like it comes out beautiful, right?
I would like to say, and I use this fairly often, it
Yeah.
takes just as much energy to think, oh my God, what could go wrong? What's going to happen? What's like think the negative? Or for me, it actually feels like it takes less energy to go, what if it all works out?
Yeah. Right. It's true.
It's
It takes
just as
like,
likely, probably more likely it's going to work out, and just expect that it's going to work out.
right. And then the anxiety overrules you sometimes, and you get actually physically sick with
Yeah.
anxiety. So it's better to go in with more hope and going, yeah, that's going to be great, and change that mindset, positivity. Then when you walk into a room, I think you're showing more confidence as well. You're not just like, oh crap, I couldn't find parking and it was the worst
Yeah.
thing ever. I walked 10 blocks and I really don't even want to be here now. And that shows on your face as well. And it's like, at that point, you just don't want to talk to anyone. You just want to curl in the corner and be like, I just want to leave, right? And you show that. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, right? So
Someone bring me a blankie.
I don't want to play with my mom. So let's go into why we're actually going to do our show today. That, yeah, you ate up 20 minutes. That's incredible. That's insane, but it was good.
That's
Um,
why we have a talk show, because we're good.
we're good talkers.
Okay, so yeah, well, with summer,
Yeah.
and I'm finding this, I kind of went, whoa, what? It's halfway through July, and I had intentions. I told myself I'm going to make a wish list for summer of
That's
things that I really
productive.
would like to yeah, what would I if I could just what would I really like to do this summer? So I
Yeah.
literally sat down and started working on, and it's a working document, but I thought, what are some things that I wanted to do? And then suddenly had that holy shift moment.
Yeah.
It's halfway through July,
Oh my
and
goodness. Yeah.
I like, and you feel so guilty as well because people are, what are your plans for summer? Do you have anything planned for summer? What are you doing for summer? Where are you going? Are you taking any vacations? And you're just like, oh my God, should that be on my wish list? Did I admit, like, I should have something exciting and my summer's going to be gone and I haven't done this or that. And just, we come off of, I think, especially if you have kids in school,
Hmm.
it's just a marathon, and then there's finals, and then there's all of this, and all of a sudden, boom, you're just supposed to turn that part off and be in summer mode and be floating on a pool. I was actually going to, if the Wi-Fi was good enough, I was going to go. We got a little inflatable kiddie pool in the backyard, and it's like 32, 33 degrees out here, and
Yeah.
I was gonna come to you for the shows in the pool, but
Oh, get out there right
right,
now.
right, that would have been fun, but it's like we're just supposed to shift, boom,
Yeah.
into summer mode, and it I think cut ourselves a little grace,
Yeah.
that just, have, and maybe start your wish list not on July 10th, but start it on May 10th already, or something, like
January
start,
10th.
kind of get
You know what? Screw New Year's resolutions. Why don't we start summer resolutions?
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
Because by the time we are, sitting down, we're writing a list and it's like, okay, this is what I want to do this summer. It's probably going to be like March anyway, by the time you actually sit down and have your list going, right? So even at this point, some stores have like, okay, I was in Michael's, I think a week or so ago, and it was like they have Halloween stuff up already. And so it's like, well, if they're planning ahead, then why can't we plan ahead just a little bit mentally, right? So even if it's kind of in there and it's like, however, okay, it's good to plan ahead. Some things happen out of our control though, so we can kind of arrange that shifting and go, okay, oh yeah, well, I can't really get away this summer, but I can do a staycation instead. I think the flexibility would be better. But I seriously think we have to change the whole New Year's resolution mindset. Like that shit's got to go.
well, I've actually quit doing it over
Yeah.
the years,
I
and
mean,
it's
long
more
time
of,
ago. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
I prefer to spend my Christmas vacation, like those resolution, that first week or so in January, and sit down and go, what all did I learn and
Yeah.
accomplish? And what can I celebrate from the past year?
Yeah.
And
Actually,
then
that's way
roll
better.
into the new year going, yeah, like I did all this. Um, and then it sets you up to feel successful, to tackle new things, and you feel
Yeah.
inspired. It's like, oh yeah, I started this and that was amazing. I'd like to do more of
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then we roll off that into our summer wish list, and then we hit the end of June, already sliding into that. And we've maybe done
Yeah.
some prep instead of going, oh, okay, it's summer. Oh, there was a few things I should have had either booked or planned or thought about, even if it's a staycation or it's a
Yeah.
hobby that you wanted to try. And you thought, well, I'll wait and kind of do that in the
You're
summer. I'll do
planning
it with the kids.
stampede. Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other point that somebody made to me yesterday is this summer in particular, we really didn't get summer type weather to get us in that mind shift of
Mhm.
moving into summer until the end of June, maybe
Beginning
even
of
closer.
July. I think it was actually even, I think it was the first or second day of Stampede, we had quite a bit of rain here. And
Right.
it usually does rain during Stampede week almost
Yep.
all the time. Like we've had floods in the past during Stampede week. Like
Yep.
you can go down to the grounds and you can wear rubber boots and you know you can bring your rubber dinghy. You can expect it, but yeah, but we didn't. Like it wasn't actually overly bad. Like it's actually been more hot than rainy, but yeah, it was, I think it was the second or third day of Stampede, and it's just been cooking ever since. Like, I think we've been in a heat wave since that. So, and that's another thing is we don't know what the weather's going to be like. I think this is probably one of the hotter years that we've ever had. So, planning around traveling and everything, it's one of those things you have to think of like, okay, do I want to stay here if it's really hot or go somewhere a little bit cooler actually? So, yeah, and a lot of people do travel to hotter places during the summer, but you get your tropical vacation right here. Just pull up your dinghy and get some blow up palm trees and
Yep.
get your sand
The
table out.
mojitos.
You're good.
Um, I want to go back and unpack a little bit what you said earlier, Cari, with that mindset that, and we said like a mind shift, a mindset
Yeah,
that you prepare for, and you're saying like whether it's the
yeah,
rubber boots or something, like the weather's unpredictable maybe, but you do know a certain amount of things that you can predict, like the
yeah,
the people, there's going to be a lot of people, that if you have kids along, there's going to be a point where they're going to be hungry or thirsty or bored or
yeah,
restless. And if you can just prepare a little bit for that and just know going in, it's not like, okay, I'm going to get right to the front of the line, I'm going to find parking right
yeah,
away. And then when you don't, you're just frustrated and
yeah.
you're already like,
Yeah.
this,
Yeah, I
this
think you
isn't
want to
working out.
make that the best experience for yourself. Like say you're even just going with a friend or something. Or you're alone. Some people go alone. They don't have anyone to go with. So even your own mindset of going and just, go with a great plan and just be like, yeah, things are going to happen along the way. Same with traveling, whether you're going with family or going alone, shifting into that mindset of like, okay, like things are going to happen. Like things are just out of our control. You can have a lineup at the airport for customs. You can have whiny kids on the airplane. You can have whatever. You just have to kind of, again, shift your mindset. This is, just a part of the journey because when you look back at it and you go, yeah, there's such a whiny kid on the plane, but it ended up that it was like all, the people in the front row were all like playing with the kid
Yeah.
or the stewardess are carrying the kid, like it turns out to be like a cute little story instead of like a bad story, right? So, it's one of those things you can make it way better, and then again, like we were saying, summertime, where go, 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 go. And even it doesn't matter when you're planning trips, just try to, and it's hard, is turn off your work mode when you're going
Mhm.
into a trip or summer, like summertime, a lot of people like, you're not going to have all summer off. There's no way, unless you're a school teacher. But even then, they're still prepping for the fall time. They're really getting ready in August. So they don't even really have that time off. So yeah, just again, like shift it, like, okay, enjoy the moment. Because a lot of times, you're like, oh, I forgot to plan something for summer, and it's the FOMO, the fear of being left out, right? Um, that can set in. Like people can seriously get depressed because people are posting on social media all the cool things they're doing for summer. But you know what? That could have only been 3 days of their summer. You don't
Yeah.
know. And they could have taken 300 pictures, 100 pictures a day, and then they decided, oh, I'm going to just post these and spread them out. But that was it. That's all they had. So you don't know. Meanwhile, you're scrolling and you're looking and you're like, oh, I want to go to the beach, and oh, I want to go do that or this, and they're so lucky. But that's not often the case. Like you know, we just don't know. Social media is very deceiving that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would love for people to drop in the comments or message us with some of their best tips, like best in the comments so
Yeah.
everybody can see it. Like, what
Mm-hmm.
are some tips that you have for being present and also
Yeah.
for switching out of that work mode? Like, how I know some people have said, say, when they get home from work, they'll just spend a couple extra minutes in the driveway or the garage in their car and just very intentionally letting go of the workday and
Mm-hmm.
just being prepared as they walk in the house to their family,
Yeah.
or if it's a spouse, partner, even if it's their dogs or cats.
Yeah.
Like, let's, give yourself a moment to shift from one space to another. But, if
Yeah.
anybody's got some really great tips of how they manage that, and also ideas for staycations, ideas
Mm-hmm.
for ways that you can enjoy your summer that maybe doesn't have to take a lot of time or time off or money or traveling, or just what are some things that you can do? Because I think the panic we also have in Canada, or even part like the northern parts of the hemisphere,
Hemisphere.
it, it's only a little bit of time that we really have this actual summer weather, and we feel
Mm.
a bit of a panic to make the most of it. Like already, like Kyle and I just dread when June 21st is coming, because then after that, the days start getting, the daylight hours start getting shorter, and we're already like, we don't even talk about it. I know it's that day's coming, but we're on this downhill slide already, and
My
that's before July hits.
Mine is always when the leaves start changing.
Uh,
That's my biggest, like, shit, like it's coming.
yep,
But fall time is so beautiful. Like you can't
it
just
is.
not love the beauty of it. So then it's like, okay, you're mentally preparing for the next season, right? So that's my seasonal shift is that time. But there is a couple comments,
Oh, great.
and it's from someone in LinkedIn that follows me. So he was just going back to stampede and saying patience is a virtue and makes for great stampede. And he hasn't been in 15 years. So patience is not just stampede, it's everywhere.
Yes.
Have that patience, plan a little bit, and know that, yeah, things can change, and just be like accepting of it. I think that's always always a big thing. And then he goes back to the goals. It's always a good time to set goals. I think he was saying January,
Oh,
but uh, I don't know.
anytime. But
I think, like
yeah,
you said, I think I know everyone's like, oh, set goals in January. I think though, maybe you could set the summertime goals in January. I think that would January, February. But I like your idea of reflecting back and go, this is
celebrate.
the incredible year, and celebrating who you're going into the new year with too. Because I think that's kind of cool, right? As well.
Well,
So
yeah, and
yeah,
you
don't wait
roll in.
till January.
Yeah, don't wait for January. Exactly. Thanks,
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah, because
And
I
just to
think the
roll
quarterly too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
quarterly is amazing
yeah.
because it's easier. Otherwise, you're going back through your calendar and you're trying to remember. And if you're anything
Mhm.
like me, once you achieve something, it's like, okay, what next? You don't even pause to think, oh, this is amazing. Like
Yeah,
that, I just did this. So it is really important that we celebrate it, but also then set an intention for, okay, so then if we're going to set some goals, who do I have to show up as
Mhm.
And that's where patience, that's where being inspired and acknowledging and celebrating your past accomplishments, that all that
Mhm.
goes together to really set you up for success and reaching the next goal. And also, like, don't beat yourself up if it wasn't how you pictured it, because maybe it's going to work out better if it works out a different way.
Yeah. Paul says, do them as soon as you get them. Do the
Yeah.
goals as soon as you set them. Yeah, probably as soon as possible. But if you're making goals in January to do something in summer, then you have to watch out there. But that is a good idea. And there are, if you even Google up, there's actually people that, like some coaches out there that will help you, like long-term goals, short-term goals, goals for the month, goals for the day, goals for the hour. Like you can seriously get down to the nitty gritty and go through them all. It just depends on the type of person you are. For me, going back to vacationing in summertime, I love summer. It's my favorite season. So I try to, I go with the flow when it comes to my day job, and I go with the flow when it comes to, what I can get away with and do locally before setting something, a little bit further away. I was lucky enough to be able to go and travel already this summer, but it was only for a few days. Like it was about 4 or 5 days. And, you know, I'm so bad with taking pictures. I'm horrible. Now, it's
No,
not
I
as bad
no,
as you think,
I'm not
but
going to let you call yourself horrible. Whoops.
okay, it's a both thing. Okay, it's horrible because I want to take so many pictures, but then I have to. I'm learning more and more, and I set this goal a little while back was to get a few pictures in the moment, but also stand back and live in that moment and take mental pictures instead of just physical pictures with my phone.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to scold you on that because I don't like hearing people. Ah!
Was that Siri? Siri is
I
saying
just
no.
I don't like people to call themselves horrible or anything like that, because
Yeah.
I like to shift that.
Okay.
That kind of
Let's
shift I
shift it.
like to shift. And so I just want people to reframe it. Like, I'll do that to myself too, and I want
Yeah.
people to call me out on it. But the reframe is, you are being present.
Yeah.
And I have struggled with this too. I'll get back, I'll host a kid's birthday party, I'll go on a vacation, I'll go do something and think, I did not take a picture. Or like,
Like opposite.
yeah, and think, okay, but I was present.
But then
And
go
yeah,
ahead, finish.
and I just think that there needs to be a balance. I love having those memories. I
Yeah.
love photography, but I also, struggle with just be present and
Yeah.
enjoy the moment.
Yeah. See, when you're attending birthday parties or like a place or event that there's many people and many people they can send pictures to you.
Yes.
Whereas if you're on a holiday and you're by yourself or whatever, like there's only you to
Yeah.
necessarily take pictures. However, I guess you can ask a stranger to be like, hey, can you take my picture in front of such and such too? That's
I usually offer to
yeah,
take
I do
people,
too.
like if I see, yeah.
I'm like,
I
hey
have
guys.
I've saved so many really cool reels in Facebook where people show how to take better pictures. Yeah. Someday I'll use them.
Well, it's
Someday
great
I'll
and
try.
all. It is
It's
great,
fun.
but
Yeah.
it's also nice to not have that picture of like you're going,
Yeah.
and you get the full body instead of like, trying to get it yourself. So there's, but it depends on who you are. Some people have no problems. They're like, whatever, there's my face in front of the ocean, we're good.
So
Whatever.
So, Cari, you say that you have some great ideas for what a person can do locally. Is there anything that could kind of apply to more than just your neighborhood or Calgary that you have that we could mention to people that they might want to consider trying this summer if they're feeling kind of like, I got no
Oh, yeah.
plans and everybody's doing all these cool things? And what are some of your great ideas that you've come across?
my great idea as well. If you
Mhm.
are Calgary surrounding areas, I mean, it's a no-brainer, but Banff is always the go-to. And some people actually have never been there. So, and it's going to be busy. I mean, that's just how it is. It's
I'm
one
going
of
to add
those,
Canmore and Quarry Lake.
right? And but the thing is, when you go to these places, don't always do the tourist stuff. Do like, go on Facebook, you can ask your friends, go, hey, what are some cool things to do in Banff or Canmore that no one has ever really thought of, or it's not on like the tourist list, you know what I mean? Like there's probably some really great little shops in both locations. I mean, grab a canoe, grab a kayak, like whatever. You can do that stuff, horseback riding, or meet up with some friends that are there. There might even be some like little classes that they might have going on for the summer. Maybe they've got like needle, the needle artwork or something. Um, who knows, right? There could be some hidden goodies. And I
Yeah.
say that for like every outside surrounding area in like, across Canada. If you want to get
Yes.
out of Alberta, I mean, go for it, right? Like I just went, luckily I actually went down to Lethbridge and it was pretty cool because it's not like a huge tourist place, but it's got some really cool, neat little stores and restaurants. And I was like, yeah, this is cool. And I went down there as well. I got to meet Jesse, the owner of Jess FM, which is, was awesome. And that was like the highlight of my point. And I got to get down to Waterton too for like a
Oh, I
day.
love Waterton.
And I had never been south past Claire's home. And take a chance, like really get out of your shell
Explore.
and get just a little bit past that next destination and go, hey, like seriously, even like get a dart and do the map thing and go, okay, let's go somewhere we've never been, because I think that's the coolest thing. But do staycations too. Like if you've never been, if you got kids and it's fun, like Cowley Park is great because it's open now all day, 10 till 7 p.m. and until end of August, and then an open weekend. So that gives you, get a pass. You can go anytime. If you're at work all day and you say get out at 2 o'clock, be like, hey, meet your friends there and do it for the day, the 5 hours left over. Um, find
Well, and
some
if you're
great
not from the
hotels nearby
area,
too. Yeah.
if you're not from the area, we actually did the stay and play. And so you camp 2 nights, you get a pass, you camp for 2 nights, and you get a 1 day pass.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was really fun.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of people just think, oh, you gotta go for the day, but there are many options to staying or checking out a place. Like ask around because sometimes there are little hidden goodies just and you just don't know,
Mhm.
right? Like ask the locals. Ask, the locals
Exactly.
when you get there and be like, hey, what's a cool diner or whatever, and try different foods as well. Because that's something that you will connect that trip with and go, oh, this is so great. Like, um, and even I'm going to put it out there too, but Stavely, they've got a show and shine event coming up on the 27th. So it's a day thing and it's about an hour from Calgary going west. So that's another fun thing to do and check out some, cool trucks out there. And they got some food trucks coming out and a lot of locals as well from Stavely. So it's pretty cool. Like you just don't know what's going to be popping around. Facebook, if you get a chance, go into events and check out events that are happening.
Yes.
It could be, even if it's, I think you can change the like the kilometers of where the events are at. And you could go like maybe a couple cities away or something and just go, hey, this is cool. I think Edmonton's got their K days coming up as well, right?
And we have Westerner Days here in Red Deer right now.
Yeah, yeah. So all the
The
local
other,
rodeos are still going as well. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And just check out, that was a good suggestion around the Facebook events, or even just going to those different little communities. Like just expand your backyard a little bit and check it out. On staycations, I want to challenge families to try. It's like, well, if we stay home, we're just going to do the same old things. We might have days off, but now we're stuck in the house with the kids. Why not challenge everybody, even if you have to start with just half a day, is to
Mm-hmm.
go no screens. So
Mm-hmm.
no phones, no TV. So not even movies. Let's get out board games and card games. Let's use our imagination. If depending on the age of the child, and honestly, I don't think that should stop when they become double-digit ages. Is blanket forts.
Oh my goodness. I
Just
love
saying,
it.
they're fun. um, Whatever, like use your imagination. Get out some coloring books, or
Backyard
wow,
camping.
how about actual book, like a book in your hand to read? And oh my gosh, okay.
Yeah. Well,
Everybody
everyone in the
drop your ideas.
everyone in the family can choose their favorite book, and then they can swap, or they could read a page a day or
Yep.
something. You could do something like that. You could have ongoing board games where it's like, like a board game that's going to take a while.
Monopoly takes forever.
Yeah,
Or
you
a
could do
puzzle.
that.
Get a puzzle out.
Yeah, and something that like, okay, every night for half an hour, we're just gonna sit and we're gonna challenge, or like the little trivia games and things like that. So I like the games that are continuously challenging you as well. That gets the brain going. I love those games. Set up a mystery night with like some neighbors. That would be so fun.
A scavenger hunt, even just in your own neighbors' yards, or your own yard, even
Yeah.
depending how much space you have, or have a bonfire one night, or check out a local park or playground that you've driven by every day to work for the past
Yeah.
year, and you've never actually just taken the bicycles or walked over and checked it out.
Yeah. There's the e-scooters. You can get one of those and scoot around and just do something you've never done before. That's something I started doing a couple of years back. Actually, it was before, no, actually just after COVID. It was like I decided to do a little bit more with family members and do something new and check out local places because I hadn't been. It's like you said, you drive by something all the time and it's like you've never been, and it's like, you've lived here for so long and you've never been there. Like I hear
Well, and I've
people
heard,
all the time.
yeah, and I've heard people say that, oh my gosh, I saw this sign on a store or building, and when I went in, it was not at all what I expected. It was so cool. And they just had never stopped to get curious about it. Just
Right.
had made an assumption, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, I like those ideas of just doing a little exploring, getting a little curious, and just trying some new things.
Yeah. And I
Food
think
too, like you
I think
said.
the families that do that or whoever decides to do this, I think they should tag us. And
Yes.
maybe if they've got the most creative thing, we'll have them on or something. That might be really
Yeah.
cool.
Ooh,
And
I
then they
like
can
that.
say what they came
So
up with, and yeah, that'd be
uh,
cool.
so tag us. Shift happens show. So shift happens show. Tag us, and we'll pull those tags, and we're going to see what you have to say. So drop, and just you can just drop comments too on our posts. You don't even
Yeah.
have to tag that. Just drop them on our posts and say, this is what we did. These were ideas we had. Or maybe even like we said earlier, is there a shift that you want us to talk about, or that you've
Mhm.
experienced that um,
Your
could
summer
help
shift.
other? Yeah. Yes, your summer shift.
Yeah. Your summer shift, like it could be a negative that you had at the beginning of summer and then it turned into something completely positive, or just like a mindset change or just something. That'd be cool. Yeah.
I love that. My summer
Yeah.
shift.
Cool.
I on my wish list had to read two fun books, because I'm always reading self-help, business, mindset, all
So
those types
boring.
of books. Well, and I know, and I was reading just a fun book one time over the winter for the hell of it, and Kyle was like, "I'm so proud of you. You're reading something that's just for fun." So I thought, okay, I'm going to do that this summer. So that's what I did. My daughter had given me the set of a Court of Crowns and Roses, or whatever, that everybody was going crazy about. It's a fantasy series. And I'd heard about it. I wasn't really intrigued, but I was curious. And so she gave me that set for Mother's Day. And it had been in a cellophane wrap. And then two weeks, no, just like 10 days ago or something. Yeah, it was only, she was here that weekend. I cracked it open and went, I'm doing it. This is going to be my first just fun book. I read that book in 3 or 4 days, and it's fairly thick. And now I'm on the second one, and I'm already
Look at you go.
three quarters of the way through, and I just started it on Sunday or something. Like, and I'm still getting my work done. I think the shift for me, that mind shift was,
Yeah.
there is enough time. Time will expand. Time will allow me the space to rest, to relax, to read, to go for a walk, to take care of myself, to actually get away from in front of my computer.
Yeah.
This is important. I was close to burnout this spring, and I really need to make some shifts. And part of that is just having fun in life and allowing that time and not just being like nose to the grindstone. And it's really hard. And so part of being intentional was making this summer wish list, which I could have started in March, like you said, Cari. I think I will next
Just
year.
saying.
Yeah, just saying. But
I mean,
that
start
was
it
a
now.
I could start it now. I'll just carry some things over.
Yep.
But I like the quarterly idea. So let's kind of recap here. So quarterly, we suggest maybe on a quarterly basis, you pause, look back at the last quarter or last half of a year, acknowledge and celebrate all the amazing things that you experienced or learned or accomplished, big or small. Like the smallest thing counts. And that just might mean shutting off the computer at 6 and actually going outside for a walk, or just moving your body outside to read a book, or whatever it might be. And so maybe plan a little sooner at that point, after you celebrate and you're so inspired by all that you've accomplished. And the list can be 2 or 3 things. That's still huge.
Yeah.
We don't want to make it sound like, oh, you're going to come off this, but you will be surprised, especially once you start practicing it. As it's happening, you can start that list as it's happening. And then when you hit that quarter, it doesn't feel like homework. It's like, I've already got a list because I've now kept track. I'm so freaking proud of myself because, I did this or that, or I said, or even saying no to something.
Oh, yeah.
Can be a healthy shift. And then we roll off that and start our wish list for the next quarter, the next, into the future. What are we hoping for? And then we show up that way. It's like, this is all going to work out in some way.
Yeah. You could plan it around the equinox, right? The spring, summer, fall, winter equinox. And then that way you give yourself, that week before, week after, and assess it and go, hey, then that way you actually have a set time to sit down and go over them. And, you don't have to do it alone. You could do it with your families or your best friend.
Yes.
You could do those too and go, hey, you can get your friend to challenge you and go, hey, what did you do different this season than you did last season? What was your biggest shift between the 2 seasons? So, yeah.
There's so much power in including other people. You could have a running list on your fridge or on a whiteboard somewhere for you and the family to say, like, you could have it, in quadrants for each person, or you could have it as a family. Hey, like, we all went for a bike ride together. Even if you do it once a year, it's going to be something you're going to be proud of. Or we had a no screen day, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then
can
that
choose
has
a day.
a lot of power.
Yeah. Kids can be like, oh, it's bike ride day. And then each, or you could do it like, say during the summer, spring and summer when it's nice, you can go bike riding, or even fall. Let's say you got a few family members, but everyone can rotate having their turn for where they want to go and kind of plan it out. They can be like, the youngest one might say, oh, I just want to go down the street and back, and the adults are like, oh yeah, we're going to Canmore. We're going. That's the trip, right? It could be, who knows, right? And it could just be so fun. And, get everyone involved planning the day a little bit. And someone could plan snacks. Someone could plan whatever, like they could help pack things, whatever. It could just be fun. And who knows, right? You could just learn so much from each other too. Like you never knew that your little sister loved like the park that's down the street so much, like, and she was like, yeah, let's go bike there. Go down the Sphinx Head 3 times and then we go back home.
I had another idea too, is making food together.
Yeah.
And it's really fun. You can, teach some traditions or just learn something new, or let's experiment. Like, I don't even know what this kind of food is, but let's go get the ingredients and let's just try it and
Yeah.
have fun with it. Another thing I did with my kids when they were little is one of them had a birthday on the 15th of a month and the other was the 31st. And so every single month, it just happened to be like they were 2 weeks apart, but you could do this at any time. So on the 15th of every single month, it was my son's, it was his day. It was his special day. He could pick what we had for either the meal or dessert or what we did that evening as a family. And then my daughter's turn would be on the 31st. And so then we would, you always, that was their special day. And it happened every single month. They got, instead of just one birthday once a year, it was kind of like a celebration of them. It was their day. And so that's something that a family can do year round. Yeah. And it gives those kids a day that they're kind of the star of the day.
Okay, then what if you have more than one person with the same number? Like you have 3 people.
Morning, afternoon. Morning, afternoon. I don't know.
Divide it
one picks the food, one picks the activity, and then swap the next month. Something. Get creative.
Yeah, there's different ways
or
to shift it around. Arm wrestle, thumb war, whatever works. Just saying, it could happen. So yeah, I guess that's a wrap for this show.
Yeah.
It's our second show. My goodness. Like, I didn't think we'd be an hour in.
No, but there's some good shift to talk about. So
good shift to talk about. Yeah. So make sure you guys go. If you haven't been following us already, please make sure you do. Share this out with friends. Again, if you have ideas, this is just some ideas of shifts that we're going to be talking about. A lot more to come, though, for sure. Yeah. Thanks, Deena.
Thanks, Cari.
Thanks for coming on my platform today. It was fun. Yeah, we're playing around with platforms too. If you guys didn't know, last time we were on Deena's Instagram page, and we're just going to flip around and kind of see what works best. So you may get to see us all over the place, or it might just be in a secret location. Who knows? We're going to shift it out. It'll be fun. All right. I think that wraps up. So have a great night, everyone. And thanks for joining us on the shifty shifts and all the shift happens.
Shift happens show. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Deena. Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.